ones. Love the familiar faces. Love some new ones. This is the combined small business breakout and Northeast Connection for the Columbia Chamber. My name is Jared Clary. I work for Splash Omni Media and serve as the chair of the Small Business Council. Really excited about today's session, especially me, working in marketing advertising. Anytime we can talk about branding or anything related, I get excited. I nerd out a little bit on that. So really excited for today's discussion. Have two great panelists, Kelsey Carmichael with Experience Columbia, Kim Jamison with Columbia Metropolitan Airport. I will let them introduce themselves here in just a second. But before we would get started, especially with things kind of getting back to normal, we have a lot of things at the chamber that are on the schedule or coming up. So I want to kick it over to Susan McPherson with the chamber to provide a little bit of a chamber update.
Okay, great. Thanks. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well and ready for a hot summer because it's going to be famously hot here in Columbia, right, Kelsey? So I wanted to, first of all, introduce and welcome Amy Al-Muhammad to our Columbia Chamber team. She is no stranger to Columbia. She has been a friend of many, worked in the business community for many years, and she is now going to be working with us in partner relations and outside sales. So we're delighted to have her here, and she'll be helping us build our team of the partner network. So welcome, Amy. Look forward to working with you and having you on this committee. And then I want to just tell you a few things. If you know anybody that's looking for a job, we have got opportunities for y'all. The Chamber is partnering with 4 upcoming job fairs, and the first one is June 18th in Lower Richland. So if you have jobs for young people, we'd love for you to participate in that. On June the 23rd, we are working with the Manufacturers Alliance, a Manufacturers Association. There is a virtual job fair, and a lot of the great jobs are open for military folks and others who might be looking to change their careers. So that's June 23rd. On June 24th, I am proud that the Chamber will be partnering with the South Carolina National Guard and the governor to have a job fair out at the fairgrounds. The State Fair is being gracious to loan us their building free of charge. So we're hoping to have about 600 guardsmen out there. It's open to the community. It is military focused. And right now we have about 70 folks who are signed up to participate. So love to have you come out. And then Mark Anthony Brewing is starting their application process. So if anybody wants to work in the beer brewing company, they'd love to have you out there. As far as chamber events coming up on June 24th next week, we'd love for y'all to come out. We're going to be at River Rats. It's going to be a great time, cold beer, good food, good friends. So come join us for that at 4:30. And then the next business meeting we have is August the 24th. And we'll have our small business breakout the week before that. And so we have join us for that. That's going to be communications, and we have Ann Thomason leading that discussion. So we're talking about face-to-face communications. So a lot of good things coming up. We'll be meeting back in person next week, and then face-to-face coming up. So we'll just keep telling you about those events as they come available. So thank you all for being here, and thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Susan. Lots of stuff going on, and I know that was kind of rapid fire, everything coming at you. The Columbia Chamber website, you can find all that stuff. You can also find all the events listed on the Facebook page. A lot of good stuff. Just working on ways to try and get back in person, allow people to network, add value to each other, build their businesses, different things like that. A couple of housekeeping things before we get started. One of the things we try and do in these breakouts is provide an opportunity to network. It's a little bit difficult to network virtually, but just to be able to recognize, put a name with a face or a name with a face with a business. If you hover over your picture, you'll see three little dots in the right corner. I would suggest that you put your name in the business that you're affiliated with. That way, in case someone wants to get in touch with you, we're going to have an opportunity to discuss and network in a second. Want to be able to connect. So just go ahead and click those 3 dots, put your first name, last name, or whatever you can fit that will show, and just let everybody know who you are and what business you're with. But before we get started, we're going to jump into a breakout room here in a second and give you guys the opportunity to discuss and network with each other. This, like I said, this is the small business and Northeast Connection combined. Typically, we meet separately to provide access or business resources to Northeast Columbia. And then we also have a small business breakout that's in downtown Columbia. Since COVID, we've combined them virtually, and that's what we have today. Our goal here is to add value to small business however we can. So we do this every month. We switch up topics. We talk about different things, anything from the back of house to your business, how to get your books right, to human resources, to marketing, to face-to-face communication, anything and everything in between. And we'll always have our ears open to what do small businesses need here in the Midlands. So feel free to provide suggestions, reach out to myself or to Henry or Susan or anyone at the chamber. Our ears are always open and we are here for you guys. So before we get started, we're going to jump into a breakout room. And our question, I want you guys to take a second, introduce yourself, tell your breakout room about your business, and then answer the question. And our question for today is, what area of marketing does your business need the most help with? So is that your brand awareness? So people kind of understanding what your brand is? Is it getting new customers through social media? Is it help just with social media? What area of marketing does your business specifically need the most help with? We'll go into this breakout room for about 10 minutes and we'll meet back here to discuss. Welcome back, everybody. Looks like we have a couple more people than we did when we originally jumped to the breakout room. So if you're just now joining us, or if you joined us in the middle, this is the Small Business and Northeast Connection for the Columbia Chamber combined breakout. Today we're talking about branding, building a business brand, and some of the challenges that you face when trying to establish a brand. We were just in a breakout room discussing what areas of marketing does your business or organization struggle with the most. We'll open the floor up, have an opportunity for everybody to share. My name is Jared. I'm the chair of the Small Business Council. I also work for an organization called Splash Omni Media. We're a marketing agency, so we do marketing every single day. And one of the things that we struggle with is like the cobbler's kids get the worst shoes. I don't know if y'all have heard that analogy, but oftentimes we're so focused on our clients that we forget to do implement the same strategies and tactics for ourselves, because we're so inundated and focused on our clients' work that we're like, okay, well, yeah, we can put Splash on the back burner. Let's make sure that we provide deliverables for our clients as needed. In our breakout room specifically, we had a great response from Betsy from Buchanan Construction. So I'm going to pass it over to her and allow her to share her thoughts.
Let me unmute. Hi, y'all. I'm Betsy Mcdonald with Buchanan Construction Services. We're here in Columbia. We are what we consider a mid-level general contractor. Our ideal project is between 1 and 5 million. That doesn't. Sometimes we do some smaller, and sometimes we do some larger. But I guess my biggest issue is I understand social media, but I don't always implement ways for us to be known. I really don't think some owner is going to say on Facebook or Instagram, oh, I like what they build, I'm going to call them. So finding a meaningful way to use social media. You don't want to just copy and paste articles on LinkedIn, and it needs to be thought-provoking. So that's my issue.
I would completely agree, Betsy. I think that is an excellent take. It can be hard. Social media can be really hard, especially when there's so many channels. There's YouTube, there's LinkedIn, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's TikTok, and it's like, where do I go? What do I do? I feel like a lot of business owners feel like I need to be on social media, but just like you said, Betsy, is like, what can I do to make someone to post something that will entice someone to want to call me and possibly do business with me? So I think that is an excellent perspective on that. Does anybody else have anything from their breakout room that they would like to share? I want to open up the floor. Blake, I know you're always a go-to to share something. So if you want to, feel free to go ahead. Anybody else?
Jared, everything I know, I learned from you. I just want everybody to know that.
I wish.
I would like to piggyback on what you said is, focusing on yourself is, you always hear about the general contractors. They're always worried about building something for somebody else and they don't do it for themselves. But what we do is we actually carve out time and we treat ourselves as our own customer. And so we've got about 75 hours a quarter that we just devote to ourselves. And that's really just helped us say, okay, it's about us. And so that just kind of carves that time out within our utilization. And so one of the other things that kind of our team has learned over the past year is really focusing on doing fewer things really well. Obviously in marketing, we're thrown, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And rather than being yes people, is we have to know what we need to say no to. Obviously having partners and connections of people that can do those things, but we're obviously pulled in so many different directions. And so one example would be disability compliance with marketing and websites, just making sure that ADA compliant disability is at the forefront of what we do. So we've researched and developed and trained our team so that we can be educated to help others with that.
That's awesome, Blake. I appreciate you. I see another friend, Sheila Fluker, on. Sheila is the balloon queen. Balloons for any type of event. Sheila, if I want to pass it to you, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know you always have something good to share. So if you want to tell us a little bit about some of the marketing challenges that you face at the Balloon King and Queen, and kind of how you overcome those.
Hey, Jared. So everybody, I'm Sheila with the Balloon Squad now. We changed our
Balloon
name.
Squad. Sorry.
But I'm still the Balloon Queen. So we are located inside the Columbia Mall right next to JCPenney. And we service everybody. If you celebrate it, we decorate it. Some of the challenges, I guess, that we face is perfection, because I don't like to post stuff if it doesn't look like really good to me. Like, it looks good in person, but I'm not good with the camera on the phone. So I guess really like outsourcing some of the younger kids that kind of know all of that stuff. And I feel like I'm kind of behind with this whole TikTok thing. Don't understand it at all. So I guess just, that's like a challenge, getting the right people in position to really that understand everything and not just kind of having my hands in everything. That's more of the challenge. If I could just kind of find somebody that can focus on that aspect, so I can focus on running the business and getting the other clients. So that's kind of like a big challenge for us. Perfect
answer. I love it. As a business owner or executive, you got to focus on the things that help grow your business. And yes, everybody has a Facebook or you have an Instagram. Yeah, you might know how to operate those platforms, but is your time best spent doing those things, or is it best spent in the business or working on the business on how to grow it and how to implement different procedures or processes that can help you scale your business? So thank you, Sheila. That was awesome. So we're going to does anybody have anything else to share? I want to give anybody an opportunity to share one last thing before we introduce our panelists. Awesome. We're going to get into it. Actually, and I want to go ahead and reiterate something, especially now there's graduations and everything going. So Sheila, please put at least your contact information in the chat. Please utilize the chat, people. If you open the chat, there's 3 dots. You can save the chat. So if there's somebody who drops some contact information in the chat and you save it, you can reach out to them after, follow up with them. If your kid is having a birthday or you have an anniversary or graduation or anything coming up, definitely call Sheila or anybody else that's in this. I know we have a lot of great attendees and people that can add value in different ways to our businesses. So please utilize the chat. Put your information down there. I just dropped mine. Would love to help you with anything that I can. But please utilize the chat, save the chat. Feel free to ask any questions or drop your information in there throughout the breakout, and we'll circle back to any questions that you might have at the very end. But without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to our 2 panelists. First, we have Kelsey Carmichael with Experience Columbia. Kelsey, if you want to take a second to introduce yourself.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelsey Carmichael, and I am the Director of Marketing for Experience Columbia SC. We are charged with promoting the entire Columbia region, so that's Lexington County and Richland County, and promoting those as a place for people to come visit for leisure travel. So it's a girls' getaway, it's a game day weekend, and also group and meeting business, which includes the convention center, and then also that sporting business, which can be anything from your child's soccer tournament to golf tournament to something much larger like the March Madness basketball tournament that we hosted in 2019.
Experience Columbia brings a ton of cool events. It was just was it Spike Ball that was here?
Yes, we just had Spike Ball. We have Cornhole coming back for like the 3rd time within a year next week. So there's just been a ton of growth over the last several years. And even with COVID, it was obviously a very hard year, but Columbia's in a really good position for group business and travel right now.
I've had the opportunity to work on some committees and things with Kelsey over the past, I'd say, 1.5 to 2 years, and have learned so much about Experience Columbia and what they do from an economic impact standpoint here in the Columbia region. A lot of cool things, a lot of things that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you think about a CVB, but really excited to have you here today, Kelsey. Really appreciate you. Our second panelist is Kim Jamison from the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. So Kim, if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Jamison. I'm the Director of Marketing and Air Service Development at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. In that role, I basically oversee all of the strategic branding, marketing, and social media efforts for the Columbia Metropolitan Airport, as well as have handle all of the relations with our air service providers. So all of the airlines that we currently have, as well as those that we are looking to go after to have come here to CAE. CAE is growing. We are really seeing a strong bounce back after COVID last year took a devastating hit to air service all over the world. And we are not like any, also had a huge hit last year. And so we're really excited though to see so many people coming back to air service and traveling. We're actually above where we thought we'd be when we projected our projections from last year. And so we're just hopeful that people continue to travel and continue to fly, but also continue to fly CAE.
Of course. Thanks, Kim. And so we're going to jump right into it. First question, and going to come back to you, Kim. If you're from the Columbia area or you've been here for the past few years, you've probably noticed that the airport has undergone a brand refresh. So most people are probably familiar with the term rebrand. Kim, can you kind of explain, I guess, the difference between a rebrand and what you guys underwent as a brand refresh? And I guess some of the insights behind that. Why did we decide to go with the new look, and how you think that has affected the airport at this point?
Yeah, of course, Jared. So I think that often in community, people might try to interchange the words brand refresh or rebranding, and they're actually two very different things. So a rebrand, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir with a lot of marketers on the call, but a rebrand is when you're actually changing perhaps like your name, your mission and vision, your logo. It's a complete overhaul and kind of a pivot from where you were to a new direction. For us at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport, we did a brand refresh. So we're still the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. We still have our tagline, Fly with Ease, but we refreshed it. I actually started in this role about 2.5 years ago. And when I started, the logo, the look and feel, the overall brand essence had been in place for about 20 years. And that brand and direction served us well for that time. But we really needed a resurgence. We really needed to come with a new look and feel. And so that is what we did. We didn't change very much more, but we just wanted to refresh what we had. At the end of 2019, we had the best year the airport has had in 10 years, and it was the perfect time to launch this refresh at the beginning of 2020. And we're still kind of in the process of launching this brand refresh with the hit of 2020, but we really utilized and really went heavy into our overall direction and marketing efforts with that new look and feel. And I think it really has served us well and has been really well received. I'll be honest, I am notorious for looking and reading at comments. I know probably a lot of us might do that, especially people who manage social media. I take it so personally. So when we put out our brand refresh, I was like meticulously going through every comment. And I have to say, to the day, I've not seen one negative comment about the Columbia Metropolitan Airport's new look and feel and logos. So that makes a marketer very happy. But it's something that we wanted to do not only for the airport, but for the community as well.
I love the brand refresh. I love the new look, especially anytime you have a brand in place for 20 years, probably time for a refresh. If you look at just about any big brand, or small brand, you should always be refreshing your look and updating it. I love it, Kim. So y'all did an excellent job there. So kind of same question to you, Kelsey. I'm a Columbia native, just like you. So I remember when we were advertising everything as famously hot. Now things have pivoted a little bit. Can you describe the transition from going with famously hot to where you are now, and how you think, or I guess what were the thoughts behind that, and how has that impacted things to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. This is our favorite question to answer ever since we did our brand refresh back in 2017. So In tourism, it's best practices to look at your brand about every 8 to 10 years and do some research, decide if it needs to be refreshed or rebranded. And so, believe it or not, the famously hot tagline had been with us for coming up on 10 years when we decided that we needed to take a look at the research. So we put out an RFP for both a branding agency and a research firm. And we found a research firm that is very focused on tourism specifically. And so they had the resources and the contacts to get in touch with potential visitors, who is our target audience. So the research came back that while there were some really great things that we were doing for the past several years, we were marketing in the right target markets, we were touting the right attributes of Columbia, but the tagline famously hot wasn't resonating quite as much with visitors as it was with locals. So that was kind of the telling point for us, that while it's very important to us what our locals think, our target visitor or our target audience is the potential visitor. So trying to get people that do not live here to come into the community and spend new money so that we are generating economic impact. So with that, we did want to bring as much equity from the previous brand through the brand refresh as possible. So instead of previously, our brand was the new Southern hotspot and the tagline was famously hot. So moving forward with the recommendation from the branding agency, we decided to make the brand simply Columbia SC, so that we were really just showcasing the destination, just making Columbia make a name for itself, and so that we wouldn't have to change the full brand in the future. And so then we moved the tagline to be the real Southern hotspot. So we're still pulling that hotspot and pulling that play on words of the warm weather and, you know, Columbia being a cool place and surprisingly cool. So we pulled that through to be the real Southern hotspot. And then we also added an official hashtag, which is hashtag Real Columbia SC, to support that tagline. And the reason behind the tagline is that through all of our research and all of our meetings with locals and stakeholders, something that kept coming out was just the spirit of Columbia and how authentic it is, and how the people of Columbia are just, you know, gritty and ready to get to work and are ready to see Columbia thrive. And so we pulled through that real verbiage and just said, you know, this is the real Columbia. Everything that we put out from this point on is going to be really authentic. All of our photos are real locals in the photo shoots. We wanted the voice to be, you know, Southern and optimistic, but also real and not saccharine, and not, you know, we don't say bless your heart. We are actually really nice, authentic Southern people. So that's where we're at now. We obviously have had to pivot that tagline a little bit during COVID, just because of the connotation of hotspot, which became negative quickly. So we did not change the tagline by any means, but we did just remove it from our advertising and social messaging temporarily, and have gone with another just message that we think has really resonated with locals and still speaks to the spirit of Columbia. And that is, sure, we've got grits, but we've also got grit. And that's been really popular. And so we've been, you know, using that a little bit more in lieu of hotspot lately.
I love it. Love it. I'd love to see the transformation. If any of you guys are from Columbia or have been here for a little while, I remember coming downtown in the early 2000s, and there you were going to a Carolina sporting event, or you were going to your parents' work or your place of work. There wasn't really anything else to do. So when people are like, "There's nothing to do in Columbia," I'm like, "You should have seen it 20 years ago. It's night and day." And Experience Columbia SC, they have a lot to do with that, and a lot to do with a lot of the different activities and events and things that are coming to Columbia. So really appreciate the work that you guys do over there, Kelsey.
Thanks, Jared. I do just want to add one more thing about Famously Hot really quick, because we do know that it was so coveted and loved by locals, and we love it too still. So we don't discourage people locally to use it. We love that Famously Hot New Year uses it, and SC Pride. We kind of see it more as like an inside joke now, and that once a visitor gets here, They may hear people say that or see it, and it's kind of like an insider thing rather than it's just not something we put on our advertising specifically anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure they're stepping off the tarmac at CAE, and they weren't lying, especially the past couple of days. It's been heating up for sure. Second question, I'm going to go back to you, Kim. So we talked about the brand, the overall brand of the airport. How do the brands of the different airlines that you guys offer play into the overall brand at CAE?
Yeah. So like at most airports, you usually have 2, sometimes 3 different types of carriers. So I want to kind of talk through those so everyone can kind of get an understanding. The first ones are legacies. So legacy airlines are those that you're probably the most familiar with. Your Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United Airlines. We have all 3 of those here, and those are legacy carriers. We also have, so the next 2 categories are the ultra low cost carriers and then the low cost carriers. So if you think about the low cost would be the Frontiers, Southwest, JetBlue. The ultra low cost would be Allegiant, Silver, and perhaps even a new airline called Breeze. I don't know if you've heard of Breeze, but Breeze would be an ultra low cost carrier. So those 3 different groups are primarily the ones that you would see at an airport. Now, it's kind of like anything else. When a consumer is familiar with a specific brand, they're going to tend to want to lean into that brand because they feel comfortable with it. They've probably had past experience with it, and they feel comfortable with putting their dollars toward that brand. And so, of course, we really were specific about wanting to ensure that we keep and have strong relationships with our legacy carriers. Those are kind of like the anchors here at CAE. In addition to that, though, we also want to introduce as many carriers as possible to diversify our offerings to the community. So we also, in December of 2020, which was the silver lining of 2020, was actually hot pink when we got Silver Airways. They called us about mid-year 2020 saying that they wanted to come into the market. They looked at the Columbia region and saw that it was a viable opportunity for them. And they opened up 3 nonstops when they came in to Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and Orlando. So that was a really huge opportunity for us to have low cost, ultra low cost service because we haven't had a low cost carrier in a very, very long time. So we have them, and we're currently in talks with another low cost carrier. Can't say any more about that, but we are working with them and trying to, again, have them come in to not only diversify our offerings, but also to diversify the nonstop destinations that we go to so that the community can have even more of an offerings when they go to book their air service. But the brands that are here do have a lot to do with how we are perceived as a, sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Someone asked if I could give a hint. I can't. It's an airline. They fly to places. No, I can't do it. Sorry. But it does. I think that we want to have the very best here, and we want to have some unique offerings as well that people might not have heard of, like the Breeze that I was talking about. But that is kind of the overall direction when it comes to brands at an airport for sure.
I love just to hear the fact that we're adding airlines. I know a lot of people that have utilized Silver in the flights to Florida, and I've heard only great things. But I really take pride in having you here and just hearing like we're in talks to get more airlines because we're not Charlotte, we're not Atlanta. Yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I will say before I started, probably about 10 years ago or so, we actually had a number of different airlines, and I don't know all of the nitty gritty and the behind the scenes details of what went wrong or what didn't kind of jive, but a lot of times it it really is a community effort in ensuring that these airlines feel supported when they are in the market. Also too, I get this question a lot. It is so much more involved on the air service development side than just picking up a phone and calling Delta and asking for new flights or new routes.
Did I freeze or did Kim freeze?
I think Kim froze.
Did you go see Brandy?
Lost Kim.
I love the fact that just hearing that the airport is vying for new options for us as a community. You know, we're not Charlotte, we're not Atlanta, we're not New York or any of those big cities. So I could see how it'd be easy to say like, oh yeah, we're not Charlotte, we're not Atlanta, we're not going to get some of those flights. But just to hear like we have someone from the airport advocating and vying. Kim, you froze for a second, so I went ahead and continued. I'll pass it back to you if you're ready. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, it just said waiting. So I think I got kicked out, but I'm here.
So I think the last thing we heard was you talking about reaching out to an airline and saying it's not that easy to just call Delta and be like, hey, we need flights to wherever. All right, Kelsey, we'll kick it over to you until we can get Kim back online with us. So outside of marketing Columbia, Experience Columbia is marketing Columbia as a destination. So utilizing a lot of the local brands, whether it be hotels or restaurants or activities and things to do. What have been some of the pluses behind that? Like some of the easier things that you guys have been able to do? And then what are some of the struggles that you deal with when trying to market different brands?
Sure. I'll start from the beginning. CVBs can be membership-based or partnership-based. Many of them are membership-based where hospitality businesses have to pay in to be a member of the CVB, and that's what gets them on the website or mentioned in social media. We are not that. We are partnership-based. We felt and still feel very strongly that we want to be able to promote as many of the hospitality businesses in Columbia that we possibly can. But that means we have 2,000 plus partners and 2,000 plus brands to keep up with on our website. So we try very hard to make sure that our social media and our website has a very equal share of voice, trying to not only focus on downtown, but also what's going on around the Columbia region, and then not always touting the same partners every time, trying to think outside of the box with who we can mention in a blog post or who we can, where we can pull a photo from for Instagram. So that's the hardest part, is that not every brand or business has the bandwidth to have a great brand or to have even just the people to keep us updated with changes. So we have a partnership services manager that takes care of our database and can reach out to people, touch base, see if anything needs to be updated on the listings of our website. But it is very difficult. So we are very transparent about the fact that we cannot keep up with 2,000 plus businesses every single day. So if you ever are on our website and you see a listing, if you have a hospitality business that needs to be updated, please let us know. We don't take offense to it. We want to fix it as quickly as possible, and we want the listings to be the best they can be for visitors and for locals. I think the funnest part of that, of being able to promote so many businesses, is just being able to meet so many people in the region, whether it's in person or just through email, just making that connection with a small business that even maybe our team just didn't know about, and now we're going to use them for our personal use. It's just been really fun being, as I said, as Jared mentioned, I'm from Columbia, but being at this organization for the past 6 years has really opened up a world of different businesses in Columbia that I didn't know existed. So.
One of my favorite things that Experience Columbia does is the Insider's Guide. Kelsey, is there a place where can they get that, or is there a place online where they can access that? Because there's a lot of great information. Even if you're from Columbia, you feel like, oh, I've done everything there is to do. I promise you, there's a restaurant or some type of activity in that guide that you haven't done that you could have a great time with. Kelsey, where can they access that?
Yeah. So we have our Insider's Guide located in our visitor center. If you want a physical copy, which is at the corner of Gervais and Lincoln Streets in the Vista. There's also a digital version on our website under visitor information, where you can just look at it online or you can print it out. Or if you don't want to go to the visitor center, but you still want a printed copy, you can request one from our VC and they will mail it to you.
Awesome. Definitely utilize that. Definitely, if you're in downtown or in the Vista, stop by, grab one of those. It's a lot of cool stuff. And if you're like food like me, there's a lot of good restaurants. So definitely utilize that. Kim, do we have you back? Are you with us? I think Kim might be experiencing a little bit of a technical difficulty. Let's try and give her one more second. So Kelsey, out of all the things you do, you know, we work together in some committees to help promote Columbia to different types of organizations and businesses. What is your favorite thing about the work that you're doing with Experience Columbia?
I think that this is more of a general answer than a specific task, but everyone on the Experience Columbia team are such passionate cheerleaders for Columbia. We want it to succeed so badly, and we believe that it really can be and has already been growing to be one of the best tourist destinations in the Southeast, and an unexpected tourist destination. So I think the funnest part about being here is just being able to work with people that have that same energy and excitement for the region. And it's nice because, as you know, Jared, a lot of the committees that I am on have to do with local pride and talent retention, and it just works together with Experience Columbia's mission so smoothly. It just kind of feels like one big job instead of different committees and day jobs. So.
Yeah, some of the local talent retention and local pride. I remember sitting in a meeting last year about just social media analytics in regards to the region as a whole and how the public views Columbia. So a lot of positive things there. A lot of great things going on. Maybe some things that you might not necessarily see on the front page of the Free Times or anything like that. But there's some good things in the works to try and help retain some young talent here in Columbia and really catch up to Greenville and Charleston as far as the economic development standpoint. So even though you may not see everything every single day, you got some powerful things in the works and hope to make some good things happen. I want to kick it back to Kim. I see that she's in and out of, it looks like a little bit of an internet difficulty, but I want to open it up. I guess at this point we have 10 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions for Kelsey or Kim? I'm going to take advantage of you while you're.
I'm so sorry, y'all. I've gotten
kicked
out like 10. I've gotten kicked out like 10 times. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we'll kick it back to you for one last question. Hopefully we'll have the internet comply with you. But so your experience is in a lot of different areas. You've worked from your resume, South Carolina Parks and Rec. You used the Midlands Sports Authority, which is now Experience Columbia SE, and Chernoff Newman, which is a local marketing agency. In those roles, you're kind of focusing on a lot of different things, or a lot of different individual things. What's it like being able to focus on one brand, the CAE brand as a whole, as opposed to the agency life or working for a CVB or South Carolina Parks and Tourism?
Sure. So I actually kind of look at the agency world as kind of on its own. I loved my time at Chernoff Newman. Those people are forever near and dear to my heart. And I learned so much because you're constantly changing directions and constantly working on different brands and different clients, and the work is really, really diverse, which allows you to kind of experience a lot of different things. But when my time with Experience Columbia, South Carolina Tourism, and now here at CAE, I'm able to do a deeper dive and really tell the stories of the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. I can talk about so many things that really will bolster and strengthen this entire organization, but also to communicate to the community about all of the things that we have here. So it might not be just one aspect of this that I'm talking about. I get to talk about everything involving the airport, and it is really, really awesome. I think sometimes we forget about all of the economic development that's taking place out here at the airport, or cargo is always a big thing. We have two hubs here for FedEx and UPS, telling that story. So it's not always just the commercial side that a lot of people are interested in about the new routes and new service, but some of the other things that are here on this campus that keep this airport moving and going. I love being able to talk about all of those things. So while I loved the agency world, it was a hustle and bustle for sure, but this has just been amazing to be able to really deep dive and be strategic about the messaging that goes out about CAE.
You guys are doing a great job over there. I think while we were in between technical difficulties, I just wanted to sing you guys praise. It's you know, we're not a large metropolitan city compared to Atlanta and some of the things like that, but just to have you on here and hear you say you are in talks with new airlines or trying to provide as much value to the Columbia region as a whole, I take pride in that. So I really I thank you. I thank my Gula over at the airport. Y'all are doing a great job. Keep up the great work.
Well, and I think I'll say just real quick, if you don't mind, I feel like that myself and Kelsey kind of are singing from the same sheet music, and that, you know, no, we are not Atlanta and we're not Charlotte. We're not an international airport, but we have so many amazing offerings that we just want to make sure the community realizes that and sees that and supports us. You know, we're always encouraging people to eat local, buy local, shop local. We just want you to fly local as well. And I think similarly for Kelsey, you know, no, we're not Greenville or Charleston, we're Columbia, and that's amazing.
I love it. I love it. So we have just a few minutes left. I want to open it up to our audience to ask a question. If anyone has a question, if you don't want to unmute yourself, feel free to utilize the chat. You can type it in there and we'll get your question that way. But we'd love to have you unmute and ask a question directly to the panelists. So this is your opportunity. I'll open up the floor. No question?
I'm
Awesome.
sorry, y'all, again, for the technical difficulties. You all get free airline tickets because of it.
Hey, this meeting is being recorded, so I'm gonna hold you to that.
Just joking.
I'm just kidding. But awesome. I appreciate all of you for attending. We don't have a breakout in July. Our next breakout will be in August. So we take July to kind of look at the rest of the year from a programming standpoint as a chamber, and how to figure out what breakouts can we schedule to add the most value. I will tell you, our August breakout is scheduled, and September is going to be really fun. September, we're having our small business roundtable, and this year we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to team up with some of the other local chambers to try and have a collaborative discussion on small business, asking what do small business partners or partners of the chamber in general, you don't have to be just a small business, what do you need from the chamber? How can we program our breakouts and different events and things to help add the most value to you? So look out for that date. That will be posted on the chamber website, the chamber Facebook. That September breakout is going to be a lot of fun. There should be an in-person and a hybrid or virtual dynamic. That way, if you can't make it in person, there should be a way for you to be able to tune in and still ask questions and engage online. Kelsey, thank you so much. Kim, thank you so much. Susan and Henry at the chamber, I appreciate all of your support, and I appreciate all of you for attending. Y'all have a great week, and we hope to see you again next time.
Jared, if I have everybody's leaving. I just wanted to say thank you very much to Blue Cross Blue Shield for the sponsorship, and to Splash Omnimedia, Jared, for your leadership on this group. It's great. As Jared said, we do take July off. We have Communications will be coming up for our small business breakout on August 17th. On the 24th, we have military. And on the 25th, we have partner orientation. And then just for those of you who might not know, Rose Dangerfield has done an awesome job with us with our communications and our marketing, our branding. Boy, she is a brand police like you just could not imagine and does an awesome job with that. But she is leaving us for a wonderful opportunity with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So Charlotte, she'll be coming over there to help out with you. So this is her last week. We'll be picking up the slack. And so everybody will be working hard to fill that gap that she leaves and walk in those big shoes. And then I just want to say a very special thank you to everybody, but mostly to Kim and to Kelsey. Y'all have been awesome supporters and partners with our military work. And both of these ladies help us welcome over 56,000 soldiers to Columbia. And the good news is that with COVID being over this summer, we'll start bringing back in probably 150,000 visitors to the Columbia area. And Kelsey, I know, and I know it is real Columbia. And when our soldiers and their families leave here, they know it's famously hot, and they will remember that all over the world. So that's always my heart. But we do experience Columbia. We talk about both of y'all when we're out at all of our military orientations. Y'all support us tremendously. We appreciate that. Kim, I'm delighted to know that all our soldiers are going to be flying the CAE soon. So that's a yay. We like getting that airport. And then I had to special shout out to Kim. General Beagle talked about you the other day, Kim. He was talking about the posters in the airport that y'all helped us put up and provided for us. So he is still giving you kudos for that. So thank you. Yeah, we love that welcoming to the military, to our community. So thank you all, and thank you both for what you do. Look forward to a great summer, and enjoy the heat, because it's going to be real.
Jeannie Reynolds. Jeannie had one last question. I wanted to try and pitch it to her before everybody jumped off.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sorry, this is so late, and I don't know if it's a 3-minute question or not, but for the panelists, you all are both obviously trying to reach a very broad audience. Most of us on here are trying to reach a somewhat narrower audience for our services and products. How do you focus? This came up in our breakout room, like you can't do everything to everybody. So how do you figure out who you're really trying to reach to get the most bang for your buck?
Kelsey, did you want, so I'll just answer real quickly. I think you just have to really evaluate who you are and what you're trying to sell, and then who are those people that you're trying to talk to. And so who are those people that are going to utilize your service? And also too, at what way are they most reachable? So it might, I feel like I've seen a lot of times people say, well, we've got to be on Facebook, we've got to be on Instagram, we've got to be on Twitter, we've got to have this amazing thing on our website. Like, and you might not be like, that might not be the best way to reach your audience. So I think figuring out who you're trying to talk to and how do they like to be talked to, and then kind of grow from there. I really, for example, our engagement on Instagram has a very different audience than on our Facebook page. So we do different things for different channels, because we understand that we're talking to, yes, people who potentially fly, but these are very different subsets of people. So I just have to say or suggest, really do a deep dive on who you're trying to talk to and how best they want to receive information.
I don't have anything to add. That was a perfect answer from Kim, and exactly how we look at our channels as well.
Awesome. Any other questions before we go? Great. Well, I really appreciate you guys. Thank y'all so much. Thanks for asking the question. And hope to see you guys in August. Y'all have a great July month off. We'll be programming and trying to do some cool things for you in the fall.
Happy July 4th early.
Thank y'all. Have
everybody.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.